There is a conversation that never happened. A conversation that should have taken place at a kitchen table, or on a long drive with the windows down, or late at night when the house was quiet and the world felt small enough to hold. Your father should have sat across from you, looked you in the eye, and told you the truth. Not the comfortable truth. Not the truth that would make you feel safe and loved and protected. The real truth. The kind that cuts before it heals. The kind that prepares you for what is actually waiting outside that front door. But he didn't. And it was not because he was a bad man. It was because he was a good one. And goodness, without wisdom, is one of the most dangerous gifts a father can give his son. He told you to be honest in a world where honesty without strategy is just exposure. He told you to be kind in a world that reads unlimited kindness as unlimited weakness. He told you that hard work always pays off, in a world where hard work without leverage just means you exhaust yourself building someone else's dream. He told you the good guys win. He told you fairness is real. He told you that if you keep your hands clean and your heart right, the universe will balance the books in your favor. He sent you into the arena believing the referee was watching. There is no referee. There never was. And so here you are. You have done everything right, and somehow everything feels wrong. You have worked harder than people who earn more than you. You have been more loyal than people who have more friends than you. You have been more honest than people who are more trusted than you. And somewhere deep in your chest, beneath the exhaustion, beneath the quiet frustration you don't fully let yourself feel, there is a question you are afraid to ask out loud. What went wrong? Nothing went wrong. You were simply handed the wrong map for the territory you were walking through. This is not about blaming your father. That is too easy and too small. This is about something far more important. This is about finally receiving the education you were owed, the lessons that powerful men have always known, the principles that separate the men who shape the world from the men who are shaped by it. Your father gave you love. What he could not give you was armor. Today we are going to build the armor. The first thing your father should have told you is that the world does not run on fairness. It runs on leverage. From the moment you are born, you are embedded in systems, social systems, economic systems, political systems, psychological systems, and every single one of those systems rewards leverage above everything else. Leverage means you have something someone else needs. It means your absence costs more than your presence. It means you have positioned yourself so that the system bends toward you rather than you bending toward it. Your father, without realizing it, taught you to be maximally replaceable. Be humble. Don't ask for too much. Be grateful for the opportunity. These are the mantras of a man who has no leverage and has made peace with it. But you were never supposed to make peace with powerlessness. You were supposed to conquer it. Think about every negotiation you have ever been afraid to have, every raise you didn't ask for, every boundary you didn't enforce, every relationship where you gave far more than you received because you were terrified of being seen as difficult, as demanding, as too much. That fear was installed in you. It was not born with you. A child has no fear of asking for what it needs. That fear was taught. It was taught with phrases like "don't be greedy" and "be grateful for what you have" and "who do you think you are?" Those phrases had a function. They kept you small. They kept you manageable. They kept you from taking up the space you were entitled to take up. Your father should have told you that ambition is not a character flaw, that wanting more, demanding more, building toward more is not selfishness. It is the most natural expression of a living thing. Every organism on this planet reaches toward more light, more resources, more life. The flower does not apologize for growing toward the sun. The river does not apologize for carving through stone. And you should not apologize for wanting a life that is larger than the one that was handed to you. He should have told you that your discomfort with conflict is costing you everything. Not the dramatic conflicts, not the fistfights and the screaming matches, the quiet conflicts. The moment when someone takes credit for your work and you say nothing. The moment when a friend crosses a line and you laugh it off. The moment when you are undercharged for your value and you accept it because negotiating feels rude. Conflict avoidance feels like peace. It is not peace. It is slow surrender. It is the daily signing away of your own authority, your own territory, your own self-respect, in tiny increments so small that you almost don't notice until one day you look up and realize you have negotiated yourself out of your own life. Your father should have told you that people do not respond to who you are, they respond to who they perceive you to be. This is not cynicism. This is neuroscience. The human brain processes millions of signals every second, and it cannot afford to actually know anyone. It takes shortcuts, it reads posture, and it makes a judgment. It reads the tone of your voice, and it assigns you a rank. It reads whether you hesitate before you speak, and it decides how seriously to take you. It reads whether you hold eye contact or look away, and it determines whether you are prey or predator. These judgments happen in fractions of a second, long before any word comes out of your mouth, long before your intelligence or your kindness or your character has any chance to show itself. And if you walk through the world apologizing for your presence, if you make yourself small to make others comfortable, if you speak in questions when you should speak in statements, you have already lost the room before the conversation began. Your father told you not to judge a book by its cover. He was teaching you how to read. He was not teaching you how to be read. Because the world absolutely judges the book by the cover, every single time, without apology and without exception. The man who walks in dressed with intention, who moves without urgency, who speaks with the quiet confidence of someone who has never needed your approval, that man gets the benefit of the doubt in every room he enters. The man who shuffles in, who over-explains, who laughs nervously at his own jokes to preempt your judgment, that man has to work 3 times as hard to earn back the ground he gave away in the first 7 seconds. Your father should have taught you to walk into every room like you built it, not with arrogance. Arrogance is just insecurity in an expensive coat. With ownership, with the settled, unshakable energy of a man who knows exactly who he is and has decided that this is enough. He should have told you about the difference between being liked and being respected. These two things are not the same. In fact, they are often in direct opposition. The most liked man in the room is frequently the least respected. He is the one who agrees too quickly, who laughs too readily, who bends his opinion the moment he senses disapproval. He is comfortable to be around because he asks nothing of you. He creates no friction. He issues no challenge. He is, in the deepest sense, forgettable. The most respected man in the room is often the one who makes you slightly uncomfortable. He is the one who disagrees without flinching, who holds his position under pressure, who does not adjust his truth to match your preference, who can sit in silence without needing to fill it, who can disappoint you and look you in the eye while doing it. Respect is not given to those who seek it. It is given to those who do not appear to need it. Your father raised you to be liked. He should have raised you to be respected, because liked men get invited to the party, and respected men get called when something actually matters. He should have told you about the architecture of trust, and how most people you will meet in your life are not your allies. They are participants in a transaction. This is not a dark view of humanity. It is an accurate one. Most relationships, professional and personal, are held together by mutual utility. The moment the utility disappears, so does the relationship. The colleague who praises your work stops praising it the moment you become competition. The friend who is always available becomes unavailable the moment you need something that costs him something real. The mentor who invests in you begins to distance himself the moment your ceiling threatens to exceed his own. Your father told you to trust people until they give you a reason not to. The wiser instruction is to understand people before you trust them, and to understand that most people, under sufficient pressure, will act in their own interest above yours, not because they are evil, but because that is what living things do. This does not mean you become cold. It does not mean you wall yourself off from connection. It means you become discerning. It means you watch behavior over time instead of taking declarations at face value. It means you notice who shows up when showing up costs something. It means you pay attention to what people do in small moments, because small moments are the truth, and grand gestures are often theatre. Your father should have told you that loyalty is rare and it is precious, and you should treat it like the finite resource that it is. give it slowly. Give it to those who have earned it through consistency, not through charm. And guard it fiercely, because the people who spend your loyalty without replenishing it are the most expensive people you will ever allow into your life. He should have told you about energy, not in a mystical sense, but in the most practical sense imaginable. Your attention is a resource. Your time is a resource. Your emotional bandwidth is a resource. And like all resources, they are finite and they can be depleted. Every person you allow into your inner world is either adding to those resources or subtracting from them. There is no neutral. The friend who calls you at midnight not to check on you, but to download his latest crisis onto you, he is not your friend. He is a cost. The colleague who turns every conversation into a subtle competition, who cannot celebrate your wins without immediately pivoting to his own, who leaves you feeling slightly smaller every time you walk away from him, he is not your colleague. He is a drain. Your father told you to be there for people. He should have also told you that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that there are people in this world whose entire strategy, conscious or not, is to find full cups and empty them. You must audit your relationships with the same ruthlessness that a serious businessman audits his expenses, not with cruelty, but with clarity. Who in your life consistently leaves you more energized, more capable, more clear? And who consistently leaves you more depleted, more confused, more doubtful of yourself? The first category, you invest in. The second category, regardless of history, regardless of sentiment, regardless of the guilt your father's voice places in your chest when you consider pulling back, you begin to manage. You limit the access. You reduce the surface area. You love them from a safe distance, if you must love them at all. Protecting your energy is not selfishness. It is the prerequisite for everything else you want to build. Your father should have told you about power, and why pretending it doesn't exist is the most powerless thing you can do. We live in a culture that has made power into a dirty word. We are taught that wanting power is corrupt, that pursuing it is unseemly, that the truly noble man holds it at arm's length and contents himself with simpler things. And while you were busy being noble, while you were busy being humble, while you were busy shrinking yourself to fit the narrative of the good man who doesn't want too much, other people were accumulating power without apology and using it to shape the world according to their vision rather than yours. Power is not evil. Power is neutral. It is a tool, and like all tools, its morality lives entirely in the hands of the person holding it. A knife in the hands of a surgeon saves lives. A knife in the hands of a predator takes them. The knife has no opinion. Your father's mistake was not teaching you to fear the knife. His mistake was teaching you to leave it on the table while others picked it up. Power takes many forms, and your father should have walked you through every single one of them. There is financial power, the freedom that comes when your money works harder than you do, when you are no longer trading hours for dollars, when you have built enough of a foundation that the world's emergencies become your inconveniences rather than your catastrophes. There is social power, the ability to move through networks, to open doors through relationships, to have your name said in rooms you have never entered by people who have never met you, but who have heard enough to trust you. There is informational power, knowing things others do not know, understanding systems others have not studied, seeing patterns in situations where others see only chaos. And there is the deepest power of all, psychological power, the unshakable knowledge of who you are, what you value, what you will and will not accept, a knowledge so solid and so settled that no person, no circumstance, no failure can reach the foundation of you and crack it. Your father gave you values, but he may not have given you the will to defend them. And values without the will to defend them are just preferences. They are suggestions you make to the universe that the universe is free to ignore. The man who says he values his time but allows anyone to consume it without consequence does not actually value his time. The man who says he values honesty but contorts the truth the moment honesty becomes socially costly does not actually value honesty. The man who says he values himself but accepts treatment that contradicts that value every single day does not actually value himself, regardless of what he tells himself in the mirror every morning. Your father should have told you that your real values are not what you say when things are easy. They are what you do when things are hard. They are revealed in the moments of pressure, in the negotiations where walking away costs you something, in the conversations where telling the truth costs you someone, in the quiet daily decisions where the easy path and the right path diverge and you have to choose again who you actually are. He should have told you that failure is not the opposite of success. It is the raw material of it. Every man you have ever admired, every empire you have ever looked at with longing, every life that has ever seemed to you like proof that a different kind of existence is possible, it was built on a foundation of failures so numerous and so painful that if you saw the full accounting of them, you would be astonished that the man kept going. But that is precisely the point. The man kept going. Not because he was fearless. Fear is biological and unavoidable, and anyone who tells you they do not feel it is either lying or has simply learnt to move while feeling it. He kept going because he had developed something your father perhaps never explicitly named for you. Tolerance for uncertainty. The ability to sit inside the unknown, inside the uncomfortable, inside the space between where you are and where you are trying to go, without collapsing, without retreating, without convincing yourself that the discomfort is a sign that you were wrong to try. Your father should have told you that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with your own mind. Not with a woman, not with a mentor, not with a god, not with a vision of success. With the voice inside your head that narrates your experience of being alive. Because that voice, unchecked and uneducated, will undermine everything you try to build. It will tell you that you are not ready when readiness is a myth. It will tell you that other people are more qualified when qualification is just experience wearing a badge. It will tell you that you should wait for the right moment when the right moment is a story we tell ourselves to make inaction feel responsible. That voice was shaped by every fearful thing your father believed, every limitation he accepted for himself, every dream he set aside because the timing wasn't right, or the risk was too great, or the world wasn't fair enough to reward the attempt. You inherited his inner critic along with his eye colour and his laugh, and you must, with full awareness and sustained effort, rewrite the script it is running. This is the work that has no shortcut. You can learn strategy in a weekend. You can learn negotiation in a month. You can learn the mechanics of money and power and reputation in a year if you are serious about it. But the work of changing what you believe about yourself, of dismantling the stories that were handed to you before you were old enough to question them, of building a new internal architecture that is designed for the life you want rather than the life you are conditioned to accept, that work takes everything you have, and it takes sustained, daily, unyielding commitment. It is the hardest thing you will ever do. It is also the only thing that makes every other thing possible. Your father loved you. Hold on to that. Let it be true, and let it be enough, and let it also not be the end of the conversation, because love without wisdom leaves you vulnerable, and you have been vulnerable long enough. The world you are living in right now, the one that feels too small, too slow, too misaligned with what you sense you are capable of, that world is not your destiny. It is your starting point, and the distance between where you are standing and where you are supposed to be is not measured in luck or in talent or in the circumstances of your birth. It is measured in the quality of your decisions, the ruthlessness of your focus, the willingness to be uncomfortable for long enough that the uncomfortable becomes familiar and the familiar becomes power. Your father gave you the beginning of the story. You are the one who decides how it ends. Not with bitterness toward him, not with the exhausting weight of blame, but with the clear-eyed, settled, unshakable determination of a man who has finally received the education he was always owed and who has decided today that he will not waste another moment living below the level of what he actually is. The conversation your father never had with you ends here. The conversation you have with yourself every morning from this point forward, that one is just beginning. And what you say in that conversation, what you choose to believe, what you choose to demand, what you choose to become, that is the only thing that has ever mattered. That is the only thing that ever will.